Pancake, everyone! What if isolation from the rest of the world is actually beneficial? It's probably no secret to anyone that North Korea is the most closed-off and isolated country in the world, but you won't even guess what it has in common with Canada. You'll find out later. Today in this video we will tell you about the other side of life in North Korea and answer the question of why living isolated within your own country is cool. Free housing. According to the laws of this country, every family with children is entitled to separate housing, and not just any housing, but 130 square meters of it. Interestingly, unlike the former USSR, no one stands in long queues to receive apartments there. This is because numerous new houses are built in the cities every year, and the birth of another child, according to North Korean laws, means an immediate expansion of living space. Equally noteworthy is the fact that there are no communal apartments at all. The only distant reminder of them for Russians would be student dormitories. However, the construction pace of real estate in North Korea is very high. North Korea is so closed off that it is only possible to obtain data, statistics and other materials about life inside the country once every decade. That's why many of the figures we have are from 2012 to 2015. A multi-story building with 20 or more floors is constructed in just 8 months. As a result, by the beginning of 2012, the residents of Pyongyang alone received 100,000 improved layout apartments. The number of state-provided real estate continues to increase annually. Freebies. Introducing the only country in the world where the population doesn't pay taxes is North Korea. People in North Korea live happily and carefree, and they don't even know what taxes are. They have been completely abolished for the first time in human history. Nevertheless, North Korea receives humanitarian aid from South Korea for its starving population. These contributions are funded precisely through taxes paid by South Koreans. Only official organizations and people living and working outside the country are required to contribute to the state treasury. However, everything may change soon. Authorities say that the government plans to reintroduce income tax. The pain of megacities, no traffic jams, checkmate. Let's look for yellow license plates together. Can't find any? In other words, among all the local transportation, there are hardly any private cars. You don't arrive an hour late for a dinner invitation, and your guests don't consider being half an hour late normal. There is no need to allocate 2 hours for your commute to work. Roads are free, and public transportation dominates. Of course, there are private cars, but they're very rare and more of an exception. Protecting our own. Many entrepreneurs have faced the situation where you produce your own product, successfully sell it, and soon you can no longer compete in terms of price, volume, and quality with long-established market veterans who have honed their business models over decades. Fine if they absorb you at a reasonable price, but more often than not, they simply sideline you, where you slowly roll along your path, accompanied by the faint sounds of a dying engine. In North Korea, conditions for promoting Korean products are favorable like nowhere else in the world. This is because the interests of domestic producers are placed on a significantly higher level here than the interest in imported goods. North Korea's isolation in the trading system is more of a plus than a minus. Therefore, high-quality products from Korean brands delight their compatriots with their quality and long service life instead of being replaced by dubious imported counterparts. In turn, manufacturers provide the population with stable employment, job opportunities, and decent wages. Their own internet. Don't think that North Korea is hopelessly behind the rest of the progressive world. It's just that the internet in this country belongs exclusively to them, and they have no use for all the dubious information from the outside world in the minds of North Korean citizens. Some may argue that this is unfair to the country's population, as such limitation prevents individuals from forming a comprehensive and realistic understanding of what's happening in the world. In defense of North Korea's internet, we can say that we also have no idea what is truly happening around us. Moreover, the access of information, lack of morality, and the availability of toxic content for children, the low quality and emotional saturation of social media are driving many people insane. Therefore, a controlled and morally framed internet in North Korea serves as an alternative perspective to the ubiquitous web. Free education. Universal public education is funded by the North Korean government. Education in North Korea is free and compulsory. The literacy rate is very high, reaching 99%. Children receive 1 year of education in kindergarten, followed by a 4-year primary school education. After that, they continue their studies in a 6-year secondary school before entering university. The most prestigious university in North Korea is Kim Il-sung University. There are also well-known universities in North Korea such as Kim Chaek University of Technology, the Foreign Language University, which trains diplomats and trade officials in foreign languages, and Kim Hyung-jik University, which prepares teachers. Economy. Despite being one of the poorest countries in the world, North Korea's GDP per capita is at the level of Madagascar. The country has significant leverage relative to its size. It is hard to imagine a similar country in Africa being able to blackmail developed countries such as the United States, Japan, or South Korea. Political influence in the world is partially achieved through nuclear weapons blackmail. Western countries are truly wary of North Korea and are forced to take its leaders into account. More about education in North Korea. School uniforms in North Korea are provided by the state. Parents are prohibited from buying or sewing school uniforms for their children. The country's leader, Kim Jong-un, declared that the government would annually provide all children with uniforms of a specialized standard. Sometimes there is a shortage of uniforms for everyone, and the quality leaves much to be desired. In Pyongyang, there is much closer monitoring of children's uniform compliance, while in the provinces where there are no foreign tourists, the attitude is more relaxed. Significant attention is given to physical education classes. Martial arts, taekwondo, and shooting are among the mandatory disciplines. Lately, there has been an emphasis on the study of information technologies, including blockchain. In order to have additional hours of computer science for gifted children, some educational institutions even sacrifice chemistry, physics, and biology classes. Protect me, North Korea. Security is one of the basic human needs. In this sense, the population of the country feels completely protected from external enemies. The state has a weak economy and is isolated from the rest of the world. However, the North Korean army is still considered one of the strongest in the world. It is called the Korean People's Army. The main slogans of the North Korean ideology are Juche, which means self-reliance, and Songan, which means everything for the army. The North Korean army, with a reported size ranging from 1.1 to 1.6 million personnel, according to different sources, has a relatively small budget. For example, in 2020, it amounted to only $7 billion. Compared to leading countries, this figure is insignificantly small. However, it ranks among the top 5 in terms of strength. The size of North Korea's military power can be supplemented by 8 million reservists at any time, and the country possesses 10 nuclear warheads. What do North Korea and Canada have in common? In North Korea, producers and consumers of synthetic drugs, primarily methamphetamine, are persecuted. Drug addicts and drug traffickers who even manage to export the product to Japan are regularly executed. However, de facto decriminalization of cannabis exists in North Korea. It freely grows along roadsides or is intentionally cultivated for sale on the black market. There are no punishments for its consumption. In 2022, there were reports in the media that marijuana was most popular among military personnel, surpassing regular tobacco. So, if you're a supporter of healing and relaxation, you are welcome in North Korea. The Guinness World Records Show. Did you know that most grandiose and spectacular show on the planet is born and held every year in North Korea? Every year on the first day of May, various festive events take place here, including an incredibly impressive performance by 100,000 acrobats, musicians, and other artists. The theatrical show called Arirang, held since 1946, is a compelling reason to visit North Korea. The show is included in the Guinness World Records as the largest sports and artistic performance in the world. It takes place in August-September several times a week, usually coinciding with important dates in the history of the Korean state. The largest stadium in Asia, named Mayday Stadium, was specially built in Pyongyang to host the show. It can accommodate over 150,000 spectators, which is nearly twice the capacity of the Luzhniki Stadium. The show consists of mass folk dances, gymnastic routines, and acrobatic tricks, enhanced by sound and light effects. All of this takes place against magnificent backdrops. Both the set designs and the performances reflect the idea of North Korea as a mighty and prosperous nation. Climate, natural and social. Have you ever wondered why the great minds of humanity, the most important discoveries on Earth, top-notch artworks and ingenious inventions mostly emerged in the most inhospitable climates? When human habitation is located near the equator, minimal effort is required to ensure survival. However, people in more northern regions, relatively speaking, have to fight for their place under the sun, thereby creating greater and better achievements through their active actions. The same applies to North Korea. Despite the harsh political climate, it has always fostered and will continue to foster great accomplishments. The DPRK has nurtured outstanding composers, film directors and artists such as Johnson Park, Sukja Oh, Kyon Sun-soo, Lee Chang-hae, Lin Chang-fang, and Choi Kwon-hyun, who have made significant contributions to global development. A gastronomic paradise. One of the most crucial aspects for any person is undoubtedly food. During your trip to North Korea, you will feel like you've embarked on a gastronomic tour. Breakfast is usually served in the hotel cafeteria, while lunch and dinner are held at different places. Typically, tour companies that organize trips actually own their network of restaurants where they take foreigners. This is a common business practice for local organizations and government agencies in modern North Korea. The tour program includes a unique gastronomic interactive experience, including cooking dishes on your own and attending master classes. On average, up to 9 dishes are served each time. The famous Korean seasoning kimchi is always included, although it is made less spicy for foreigners. For fans of fairy tales, it's worth mentioning that tourists do not eat any dogs in local establishments. Ecology or agenda. In North Korea, environmental protection efforts have a nationwide and people-centered character. The state always prioritizes the health and interests of its population and pays deep attention to environmental conservation when formulating policies. Laws on environmental protection, prevention of atmospheric pollution, and other regulations prohibit anything that could have a negative impact on the environment. When developing production and construction plans, the state places paramount importance on factors that could affect the environment. For new industrial facilities, the state uniformly establishes wastewater treatment systems. Dust control and various other measures are implemented in industrial plants, public buildings, and residential areas to prevent environmental pollution. Observation stations are operational across the country to monitor the state of the atmosphere and water quality. What's good about totalitarianism? Yes, the legislation in North Korea is not the most favorable or friendly, to say the least. But what if we look at it from a different perspective? Such laws have one significant advantage: the absence of criminality. The nation grows healthy and strong because from childhood everyone participates in sports activities, undergoes regular medical checkups, and follows a strict diet. No woman is allowed to smoke cigarettes. For the freedom we discussed earlier and a sense of security, there is a price to pay. Perhaps this country has found its own currency of protection. What's the verdict, Sherlock? North Korea does not bother or threaten anyone. The country has a capable military that can take care of its people. Of course, it is far from being an exemplary or ideal model of Marxism. Nevertheless, the country has proven that it can exist at a respectable level even while isolated from the outside world. Life teaches us that there is no absolute black or white. There are only gradients. Even if North Korea is a dark shade of gray, it teaches us important things such as self-reliance, professionalism in one's field, delivering quality work, protecting one's investments, and taking responsibility for one's life. It is invaluable to contribute to one's own development, one's family, and the world in which you live, without expecting the world to take care of everything and serve you a ready-made delicious dish on a silver platter. Thank you all for watching. Be attentive and kind to the people around you. Subscribe to our channel, give it a thumbs up, and see you next time.